Hello, this is Roger Bradshaw. I'm going to be demonstrating basic race setup, and we'll do this in two parts. So this will be part one. The scenario we're doing today is a fairly complicated race. It's a 5K and a 15K. The 5K, when we score it, is only going to have a finish line, where the 15K will share the same finish line as the 5K. But out on the looped course, there's going to be a second reader, chip reader, that's going to capture a 5K and a 10K split. So we'll begin by creating the new race using File, New. And we'll select a race number that isn't currently in use. I'm going to select race 4. If we were to highlight one of the races that we've previously scored or that has previously been set up, this process, when we use the Build Race button, would actually make a clone or copy of that race, giving you the option to also copy all of the participants. That's not the case here. We're going to create a brand new race. In Race Director 2014, there is a new calendar control that's fairly intuitive. You select the race or the date for the race just by clicking on it. In this case, we'll use May 31. That's the date for our race. The name of our race is Park to Park. And that's all that's needed to establish a new race. It's just a matter of using the Build Race button. And we are now in the new race. In the information bar at the bottom of the screen, we'll always see the race number, the version of the race, which is most generally the year for the race, which is the best convention to use for the race version. And we'll always see the number of participants registered. Let's begin by going to Tailor Options. In here we see the version of the race, the date of the race, and the age calculation date. Age calculation date, when you create a new race, always defaults to the race date. There are some circumstances, USAT for triathlons, I know, likes everyone to use the end of the year so that during the year everyone's age grouping remains anchored and doesn't change. But in most cases, the date for calculating the participants' ages is the same as the race date. Going to optional data field, in this race they actually want to keep track of people that are in the military. And so that's obviously not a standard field in Race Director on the participant data. So we'll create an optional data field. And since this is going to only need to hold a Y if they're in the military, and it'll be blank otherwise, we only need a single character. So the size of the data field itself, we can get by with just a single character. And we'll want this always to be an uppercase Y, irregardless of how it's entered as upper or lower. So force uppercase is a good setting to use in this situation. We'll see more about this later on. Moving to the Park Info screen, use keystroke lookup to find participants from Participant Master. If you have a good master participant list that has been created as you've scored other races, this is a good setting to have on. This way, when you're on the Update Participant screen and type in the name, it will zero in from your master participant, and you can select the participant from there, and all the most recent address and birth date and all of that are automatically brought forward. Another good setting is to use the zip code as a shortcut to look up city and state. This way, all you really need to enter is the zip code, and city and state are filled in automatically for you. And Race Director 2014, enter birth date is now defaulted to be on, as is capture email address. If you're mostly importing participants, auto increment a bib number on participant add is a good setting to leave off. That way, when you're on the Update Participant screen, the bib number is always blank, and it's easier to enter the bib number if you're doing a lookup. Moving to Park Info 2, the Allow Zero Age now defaults to being on, and there's a new setting, automatically set up Age Not Provided age group. So this will, with this setting on, as you create divisions, you'll see that a male 0 to 0 and a female 0 to 0 age grouping are automatically set up, saving you from having to do that. Okay, we're going to move next to Taylor divisions. A good practice is the default division that's created for every new race that you set up. It's a good idea to edit that and to rename it. So in this case, we want Division 1 to be the 5K run. Distance is 3.1 miles. We express it in miles because we want the pace to come out in miles. So we want the pace to come out as minutes per mile. There's an element of setup now called event that's really only significant for when you're publishing live results, either at MyFinish or Exact. In all other circumstances, whether or not you assign events or not doesn't matter. So we'll save this. We'll use the Add button to set up division number 2, our 15K. And the distance here is 9.3 miles. And I'll set this up to the park-to-park event. And that division is set up. This is a chip scored race, so we want a division set up to, it really serves as a quarantine for unknown chip reads. So this division is used whether the chip read identifies a participant that's not yet set up, or a chip read that can't even determine what the bib number should be. So it's a way of setting those reads aside into a separate division so that they don't add confusion to your actual scoring divisions. So we'll save that. For the age group setup, we'll select the 5K first, update age group button, and here you see the age not provided age groupings are set up, and then there's one massive age group for everyone else. Generally, the range insert button is the one that you want to use first, and almost all races have blocks, either 5-year blocks or 10-year blocks. In the case of this race, we use male beginning at age 10, 5-year blocks, and we'll set up 15 of them. So that's all done in one quick step. Since the female setup is the same, we can use the copy age groups button by gender and copy from the male to the female. And now we have age grouping set up for both genders. Closing that and moving to the 15K, we can, since the age group setup for this race, they want it to be constant between both divisions, we can go immediately to copy age groups by division and copy the age groupings from Division 1 or the 5K. That's about all there is to it for age group setup. Last piece of setup that we'll do in this part is for top finishers. Top finishers are generally finishing groups or age bands, as race director defines them, that you do not want included in the age groupings. You do have the option of including top finishers in the age groups also, but the normal convention is that's not the case. There's an option to do this as race defaults if the configuration for top finishers is the same across all age groups and you don't have any special categories. In this case, we are going to have a special category, so we're going to set up the 5K run independently. So these age bands, there's going to be 2 in this case. An open band beginning at age 0 and a master's band beginning at age 40. There's actually going to be a special other band of military, the top military finishers. So we'll set up the standard bands first. So beginning at age 0 is open. And I'll explain this sequence in a minute. and we want 3 male and 3 female. The next band we'll add is masters. And that'll be sequence 2, and again 3 and 3. The next band we're going to add is the special category. And here we can use 91 through 99 for top finishers. And so we'll use 91. We'll call it military. And we'll give that sequence 3. And again, it's 3 male and 3 female. So the way this works is for the special age bands is the assignment is not done automatically by a race director. You actually have to wait until the race is scored and run a special report for only military finishers to determine who those top finishers are. And then you'll notice that when you use age band 91 and above, assign manual or finishers manually is the setting that's defaulted to be on. And you use this button here to actually enter the bib numbers for, in this case, for the top 3 male and top 3 female finishers. So that's a step. The assign step is the step that needs to be done after the race is finished. So we've completed our top finisher setup. We'll use the save button, and we'll close the screen. That concludes part 1 of the race setup. We'll in part 2 we'll talk specifically about how the new concept of timing points is done.